opinions or thoughts on Akashic records?
With the Akashic records, I have opinions, not all of them against and not all of them negative, but some of them. I don't think it's as easy as like, yes, 100%, like Akashic records. That I think the way they are presented is not quite right. I think the way that people speak about them, teach about them, is doing a disservice to what it actually is. I don't think, Matt, you've read my fictional book. I call something the Akashic records. I go off that. I use that as a bit of inspiration for like almost like a records library in heaven that I've created. It's not like that in the way that people sometimes say, oh, it is, where all of information is available to people. There's the interview I did with Wendy Marta Houseman, and she talked about timelines and past lives. That kind of touches onto what I believe. I have this belief that time itself is not linear, though we experience it linear. And I almost imagine it like maybe a table, right? And there's linear like lines going along this table, which is like year 1 to 10, year 10 to 20, like kind of like that, right? But they're all on the table. So they're all technically on the same plane and happening at the exact same time. So when we have a past life, I believe we can also have future lives that have already happened, even though our future in time right now hasn't happened. So when people tap into past lives, I think they can also be tapping into lives in the future that haven't happened, lives way back. I do think reincarnation is real. That's my personal opinion. So I do believe, I think based in a lot of the hermetics. So if you've ever read the Kybalion, it's a book that I've recommended Matt read. The Kybalion kind of goes into this, that there's like this goes into my beliefs on deity as well. Like it's such a loaded question because it's like so deep, and it really forms a part of what my beliefs are around psychic stuff and everything. So without going too far, the I believe there's like one sort of almost like creator. I'm going to show you guys this thing because I think it's the best image in the world. Hold on. And I think it does a really good justice to what I'm trying to say in a really funny way. It's a meme. This sort of concept is very much what hermetics is kind of about, right? There's the universe, and then the universe pretending to be all these individuals, pretending to be individuals across all of time and space until it has experienced itself in every single variety of ways and then absorbs itself back in. It's the universe trying to understand itself through matter, through people, plants, animals, through every possibility out there. I think things like deity is the universe trying to explore itself. The universe, you can sub that in for creator, God, goddess, source energy, whatever it is, the mind, the all. It's trying to experience itself, trying to experience deities. It's trying to experience itself, thought forms, every aspect that we have and that we tap into. That's why I believe now that, not that the Christian God is real in terms of the one and only God, but I do believe there is a energy that represents that Christian God, just like I believe there's an energy that represents all of the gods and all of the goddesses. And I think the more people that feed into that, feed that energy and grow the power of whatever deity or God or goddess that is. That's why I believe prayer can often work. That's why I believe spell work works. That's why I believe people can tap into things that they then call the Akashic records, but is really the all. It's the mind. It's that creator energy that they are a part of. So rather than it being a physical place, I do think it can present that way to some people who are guided meditation, and it can be useful to imagine it that way to give your brain something to follow along with. But I think we're actually tapping into this universal energy that we are all a part of. Now,
awesome. Thank
another
you.
thing to be aware of when you're going down those sorts of rabbit holes, when you see words like Lemurian, right? Lemurian and starseed, they fall into the new age camp of possibly problematic for me. David Icke, he believes that the queen was a reptile person and all of this in his books when you actually read them, and he talks about Atlantis being real, and that Atlantis was people from Lemuria or Mu, which is like this starseed place. They're all aliens, and it gets into Holocaust denialism very quickly. It gets into the Aryan race very quickly. It gets very anti-Semitic very quickly. It gets very racist, and like white people are the ones that are from here and they're this and that. Like it is such a rabbit hole of what the fuck. And that's where a lot of the new age starseed Lemuria comes from. But people who are getting into it now, they don't know that. They haven't read the source material. So those people are not always bad people. They don't understand it, and they don't understand the stereotypes they're perpetuating. So it can be, that's when Akashic records, I'm like, oh, I get a bit like, oh, I just don't, it's not quite like that. But I do think there is a thing like that, but it's not quite like what people teach. So that's my rant on Akashic records and Atlantis people.
Thank you so much.